Welcome, my peeps, my peoples. It's Mary Jane. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'll be greatly appreciated. So let's talk about Snowfall season 2, episode 6. It's going down. It's like Franklin finally changed his mind about his father and going to be there to protect him, because he realized that the guy that raised him a little bit while he was going to school and like the upper class neighborhood is not really a good dad, and he's a deadbeat. But Rob still stands by his deadbeat father and wants to pay the debt back to Franklin of the 2 keys that was stolen from Rob by his father. So he realized he needs to help his father, and he realized his father was somebody. He was a Black Panther, and then Nia Jones actually coming in the picture and giving Franklin her card, and she has the Black Power hand on it. And so and then Nia Jones tells Franklin that her father used to be a Black Panther too as well. He gets an attorney, he gets a lawyer for his father to fight the charges that are against him from when he was beat up by the police, because they wanted to move all the homeless people out the way, which they're doing now in LA and California downtown, where they're moving homeless people out so they can build these condos and shipping them on like a walk path and just throwing all their stuff away and taking things from them. Is happening right now in California because of these condos that are like $2.1 million. So they're actually repeating history again. So, Franklin's father, the cops that beat him up and sprayed him with water are filing charges against him, and so he needs help, and it goes down like that. And then now we see Kevin. He gets an offer from Gustavo and Lucia to actually become his own person, his own drug dealer, and actually move the way he wants to move, because he's not able to move like he wants to because Franklin won't listen to him and won't go by his plan. And Kevin wants to be bigger and wants to get the community business like check cashing places involved. And so it goes down that way. So I told you guys that Kevin was going to turn on Franklin, and he was going to end up getting on drugs or end up starting his own business and be a rival against Franklin. So that seems like it's going to happen, that he's going to take Lucia and Gustavo up on their offer and actually, become his own boss. And then now we see that Rob's father is no good. He's broke. The house is in shambles. His mother left. It's going down. And then we got Teddy and Matt going over there to Panama and all that other situation, getting the guns to give back to Alejandro's wife, and she's been burnt and beat up, and she was sent to Dallas to get some help. So it's really going down in this situation. I really want to know how everything's going to end, so I hope they get another season and things like that. And then on top of that, we have, Franklin's father just being clean, and then Lucia finding out that Pedro is actually a snitch. And then we find out that Pedro is actually working with the FBI or the police or the government to bring down Lucia because she killed his family, and he knows that she killed his father and everybody down there at the father's party. So now he wants to get revenge, and the only way he can get revenge is by using the police. Isn't that crazy? It's like, go Pedro, you snitch. And Lucia actually apologized to Gustavo, not listening to him when he said, do not let Pedro and Lorena end the situation. Don't let them end. Just give them their money and go. And so now she understands. And so now the psychic knows that there was a snake among them, and it was Pedro and his pretend wife, Lorena. So let's get into the episode. I'm like, boom. And then Jerome killed it. He was like, I want to see some titties. Jerome was like, slap your daddy, fool. Slap your daddy. So this was a great episode. So we get Lorraine, and she's actually getting, in trouble with her boss, Tony. Tony was like, you got to be removed from the case because you killed people. You helped bury people. And she was like, no, I just saved that bitch's life, Lucia. And so now she's begging for 48 hours to actually bring down Matt and Teddy and actually bring down Lucia, but she wants to get the cartel. And she's trying to tell Tony, we can get the cartel, we can get the cartel, the people that shipping the drugs, and you can be on TV with hundreds of pounds of cocaine. And Tony's kind of like hearing it, but Lorena, she kind of like broke the law too as well. So how is she still on the case? How is whatever she brings is going to be credible, because the evidence is going to be tampered with, because she helped bury the bodies and things like that. But even though she was working with the police, and plus the government is is actually on Teddy's side. So they're going to try to hush and close this down, even though the government, Ronald Reagan and his people are trying to say, Teddy, work on your own. We have nothing to do with this if something happens. So they're going to try to get rid of, Lorena. So Lorena, she's going to be going up against obstacles with Teddy because he works for the CIA and he actually got the license plates. So he's going to find out who Lorena and Tony is and what they're doing. And then he's going to question, Lucia, why didn't you tell me what was going on? Why didn't you tell me that, you had a snitch among you? And then on top of that, she saw Matt and the shipments and stuff like that. So it's going to go down. We see Harvey. Harvey's a good old snitch. And so, Lorena, she wants to continue with the case and she wants to continue to go on. So she got 2 days, 48 hours to get it down and get it done. Bring down Matt, bring down Lucia, bring down, Teddy and their whole operation, and also the Mexican gangs in LA or California or East LA, wherever they're from. And so then we get to, Teddy and Matt, they're in Panama, they're chilling. They were Harvey, they meet up with one of the government officials, a cartel leader, someone that can actually give them protection to bring the guns over, because Teddy wants to bring the guns to Panama to Alejandro's wife, because his goal is to win the war, and the U.S. government is behind him. So he's actually getting shipments of guns, and he has a little meeting with them, and he's trying to get cheaper prices for the guns. And he actually tells the dude that, hey, listen, I'll be a continuous buyer. I continue to buy guns. And they're like, yes. And Harvey's like, oh, I love when educated and gentlemen do business together. Harvey is so much. He is too much, but he's a great actor. And actually, like Jerome and Lucia, Gustavo, Franklin, but especially Franklin and Jerome, like they really killed this episode. It was like real. Franklin's facial expression, the way he's moving, you can tell he's an adult. You can tell that he's moving like he's a leader, not like he's a child, not like he's scared. And he's looking at every situation and analyzing it. And Kevin is looking at Franklin and soaking up information and realizing that Franklin is trying to keep everything to himself, but he's not. He's just trying to keep it invisible to people, what they're actually doing, and trying to keep the crack cocaine mixture or recipe a secret. But we know that crack cocaine recipe is gonna get out, and then the whole world is gonna be able to touch the crack cocaine. So it seems like he should have went with Lucia and Gustavo in that deal, but anyways, to have more of a friendship on his side too as well. So we have that situation. And so Teddy argues with the guy trying to get a deal. He gets 25% and guaranteed if his shipments or guns are stolen, anything happen, they'll pay for it, because Matt and Teddy also went through this already, where their drugs and shipment was stolen. So now they're actually getting a guarantee that if anything happens, we'll replace your shipment. Harvey's happy. Matt goes chills with Harvey and go to a hotel room with prostitutes, and he's having sex and he's being filmed because they want to make sure they get evidence on him to say that he was a part of all the situation, just in case the government or people want to bring them up on charges. And so he has some evidence on them, but Matt's not married, so he can sleep with prostitutes if he wants, as long as he didn't say anything incriminating to the prostitutes or to Harvey, because Harvey is a snitch. And so moving on from that, we got Franklin and Kevin. They're inside, the ice cream truck, Mr. Ice Cream Truck Man, what Nia calls, Franklin. And, Kevin is trying to come up with ideas with a check cashing place to actually have them sell the drugs for them, and people come in and cash their check and leave a hot cocaine. Franklin's not hearing it. He was like, come up with different ideas. And Franklin was like, and Kevin was like, yo, why are you being like that? Like, open up. Like, we can make this a big business. We don't have to be carrying weight, chasing down people, reeing up and all this other stuff. It'll be clear, it'll be less difficult for us. But Franklin doesn't want to hear it because he wants to be invisible. He don't want everybody to know. And it seems like Kevin wants people to know what they're doing, because more people involved, more noses, and people get caught, that more snitches and things like that, where they can drop a dime if anything happens when they get caught with the crack cocaine or this business with drugs, and drop a dime, because that's usually what happens. Custodies usually snitch when they get caught or try to give up a bigger fish, just like Harvey did. So moving on from that, Kevin is thinking like, damn. And so, Franklin not listening. He just wants to be the boss. He just wants to be in charge. And so we got Nia Jones. She comes there and, she works for a homeless shelter. And she's like, she went to college. She did everything that Franklin wanted to do. She went to the white college. She went to, Howard University. And she's just like, and she wants to be an attorney at law and things like that. But she goes to see Franklin to tell him that his father is doing well, but he needs to sign these documents and these papers ASAP, because if he doesn't, he's going to go to jail, and a black man in jail with a record never gets out, especially back then when they didn't even have any type of help or support for African Americans getting locked up and serving longer bids and doing longer times just because they're black and don't have the right representation in court. And so, she's trying to talk to Franklin. Hey, listen, find your father. Your father's doing good. I care about him. He's changed. But Franklin feels like it always ends the same with his father. So is it going to end the same with his father? Is his father actually going to help Franklin, help his mother, and be like somebody that can actually help Franklin and give him more structure and his business where he's going through? And it seems like Nia Jones is actually going to hook up with Franklin because she likes that he's smart, and she thinks that, damn, he's doing good. And I think Franklin's going to put her through college, and she's going to be somebody there that's going to support them legally. If the seasons actually progress and we get another season, we get a season 3, a season 4, and it seems like Nia Jones is going to be a very important part in this situation. So it's all good. So we got it going on. And so Franklin was like, nah, he's always going to be like nobody. If you want to find him, he's by the, he's under the highway path over there getting drunk because his father missed a meeting, but he's not. He's actually working at a liquor store and trying to make money to save the home that him and his wife purchased together, which is Franklin's mother. So we have that situation going on. And then on top of that, Franklin was just, nah, I can't help, I don't want to hear it. And she was like, okay, Mr. Ice Cream Man, very smart type of situation you got going on over here, selling drugs and things like that. And so then we have Lorena. She comes, Lorena and Pedro comes to the warehouse, and where Lucia and Gustavo are over there chilling. They're trying to act normal, and they realize that Pedro's a snitch and they don't know what to do. Gustavo wants to run. Lucia, she's not going to run because that's not in her DNA to be scared, because she also uses her brain and her mind to get out of situation. And Gustavo uses his brain and mind too as well, but he's like the muscle, and he's like, the good voice and, Lucia's ear. And so, Pedro and Lorena, they show up. They want to be there for the shipment because Teddy and Matt's supposed to come drop off the shipment, and she tells them no, he's not coming. And Lorena was like, why? What's going on? Because she's trying to arrest them all at once, all together, doing something illegal, even though she got more information on them. But Lucia was like, Lucia's trying to act normal, like everything's okay. They're not coming. It's gonna be for a different date, but we got to deal with the gang members. Gabby, she's coming with the gang members or whatever, and they're going to want to know what happened to their people that came there to purchase drugs or drop off money. And Lucia asked for Lorena and Pedro to bounce, peace, be out, I don't want you to come through. So Lorena, she responds and says, okay, it's okay, we'll go, no problem. And so then Gabby shows up with the gang members. The gang members wants to know what happened to their people, because their people are dead, but their people tried to kill Lucia and Gustavo and everything. And so the gang members wants to know what happened to them. Gustavo's like, maybe they went to Las Vegas, they went to Sin City and blew the money. It was like, nah, it didn't happen like that. What's going on? And Lucia's trying to act like she gave them the drugs, she didn't get her money. What's going on? And so then now the gang members pull the guns out and they're ready to kill Lucia and Gustavo, but Gabby stops them and kicks them all out. And then she squeezes Lucia's shoulder, find out that she has a gunshot wound and she knows what's up. And then on top of that, we learned that Gabby's husband used to be a kingpin, but she took over the business because he went away, and she had a daughter, but she lost her daughter. She kind of sees Lucia as a daughter because they both want to be bosses, and they're both women and control, and they're Latina. So Lucia comes up with a good plan, saying, hey, listen, I'll give you the recipe, I'll give you $1.5 million. Gabby was like, that's good, but if you turn your back on me or you don't come through, I can't really hold the gang members off any longer. Because Lucia was like, I thought you had control over them, but Gabby really doesn't have that much control, because they wouldn't have came over there and tried to rob Lucia and Gustavo and kill them. And so she's like, I can keep them off long enough. And then Lucia was like, I'll give you the recipe and whatever, blase and a third. And so then that's when Gabby was like, well, if you don't come through, I'll give you a couple of days. If you don't come through, I'm gonna kill you, your whole family, and your whole bloodline, where you be extinct, mother sucker. And so now Lucia's like, she got to come up with a plan. And so she goes to see Franklin. She meets up with Franklin and Gustavo, Franklin and Lucia. And Lucia's trying to tell Franklin, hey, listen, I need the recipe. I can give the guys that killed your excuse me, I can give the guys that killed your people, and I can also, give you millions of dollars. I can give you $500,000. And Franklin was like, no, it's not worth it. Gustavo's begging, please, I need your help. We saved your life twice. We saved you, this and that, blah, and the third. Franklin was like, I'm not trying to hear it. And he's being really stern, and he's being like a boss businessman, I think he should have gave them the recipe and worked with them, because that builds even a bigger bond in a relationship with them. And they do have his back, sort of, but they will have it more, because Gustavo and Lucia are loyal to people that are loyal to them. And they like Franklin, but Franklin was like, no. And he drives off in his car. His car is gorgeous, that little brown. He gets in like a boss, and he walks away and was like, I can't help you. I'm sorry. I'm grateful for you saving my life, but that's one thing I can't do. So we have that situation go down. I was like, damn. And so moving on from that, then we find out that Pedro and Lorena, they actually got the drop on Matt, and, they got the drop on Matt and Teddy, and they're watching out for their place. And then we see Pedro being a snitch and wants Lucia to go to jail. So it is what it is with that situation. Then we got Teddy. He goes up to the hotel to see what Javi and Matt is doing, and they're having sex with prostitutes. They're in the room. They're being filmed. Teddy brings out, Matt said, did you say anything about that we was in the CIA? Did you say our names? Did you say anything at all? Because the whole place is loaded with cameras and microphones. Say hi to the camera because the blinds are open. And so Matt was like, I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything. Hopefully they didn't show if Matt said or did anything as far as giving the information to the prostitutes or to Javi. And so Matt finishes up, and then Matt and Teddy go downstairs and they argue. We find out that their mother disappeared and abandoned them, and they both kind of like, Matt hates the mother and Teddy hates his father. So they agree that both of their parents are effed up and messed up. So we know that they came from difficult childhoods and abandonment issues, and their father is not appreciative of what they did, because Matt left the service and he thinks being in the CIA is a bunch of pussies. So that's where that situation goes. I was like, damn. And so then we also see Teddy. He meets up with Alejandro's wife. Her arm is all burnt and everything. Her leg was going to be amputated. Her arm was going to be amputated, but Teddy saved her and shipped her to Dallas. See the type of connection Teddy has. So he's really going to go after Lorena and Tony and probably get their case thrown out, especially once he talks to Lucia and Gustavo and find out what's going on and all the information that they do know. And so, Teddy's actually telling Alejandro's wife that, hey, here's the guns. We're going to continue to give you guns. We're going to give you 400 guns. And he's showing her pictures of guns. He said he's going to support. He's going to keep being there. He also apologized for Alejandro dying. And he's a great person. But only way I can honor him is by keep giving you bullets and guns and all that other stuff to win the war. And the guns will be shipped in Panama. And we still support you and your country. And we're going to do this. And so she's like, okay, but can your pilot fly? And Matt can fly. So Teddy reassures her that, we're going to have a good, pilot that actually can fly like Alejandro. So we have that situation going on. And then after that, it's just like crazy. Gabby is just, Gabby, I'm like, damn, she's really the boss, but she can't really control them gang members. Or is she lying that she can really control them if she actually talks to them, but it doesn't seem like it. So we'll see what happened with that situation, how it goes down. I'm just like, damn, I want to make sure that we find out everything, what happens. Like, we gotta get this shit renewed for real. And so, Franklin's trying to get his mind right, especially thinking about his father and things like that. So we'll see how that situation goes. And then on top of that, Franklin's father's actually working and doing something that is actually positive. And we see that Kevin, is trying to take care of his family, support his sisters and his nieces and nephews, and trying to bring money. But we see that he's not living all that well too as well. So that's also an issue where he wants more. And we see why he really cares about his family, because they struggle and they try to stay together. I'm just like, damn, it's going down. And then we get Rob, which is Peanut. He comes to the crib where Jerome's at, and he lets them know, well, Leon's girlfriend actually figure out that he got robbed, and he was like, oh, my father robbed me. And I was like, oh, your father robbed you for 2 G's? oh, that's all messed up. That's all. Get the money back. Get the money back from your father or whatever. And he was like, well, I can't just do that. It's not just simple. It's not that just simple at all. So all the guys get ready. Franklin walks in the house. Franklin finds out what's going on. 2 keys missing, and Rob's father stole it. So Jerome made a decision to go to Rob's house and try to correct and rectify the situation or beat his ass. And so then he's getting ready to go with the soldiers, and Franklin is down with it. So Franklin's like, damn, Jerome is actually really making a good decision. And Franklin is not like, no, Franklin's ready, because he knows that this is an inside situation where he could possibly handle it without any violence going down. So they bounce and they run over there to Rob's house, Peanut's house. Jerome's talking about titties. I want to see titties and all this other stuff. Peaches want to see titties. They want to see all the women. Jerome walks in there, is touching, and Rob is trying to tell him to stop touching the women. And it was like, oh, that's that porno house that, Jerome's like, that's that porno house that Franklin was raised in. Come on, let's go see some titties. And so they get there, and Franklin notices the house is in shambles, is in disarray. Like they're really doing bad. It's not that good situation. So now he feels a little bit bad for the family or whatever, but he knows that his father, Rob's father is sponsoring his filming and porno videos through the cocaine situation. That also took some. So now they're really upset and they're mad. They're going through, and then they actually see them they're shocked to see the gay porn and everything. They're like, oh my God, Jerome's like, where's the titties? Where the bitches at? Where's this at? And they're like, oh man. And then Rob is like, yo, this is the gay porn situation. Rob's father comes out talking about, you messing up my shoot. He was like, Franklin, you're ungrateful. I raised you, Rob too as well. Rob, you know how much it cost to raise you? $214,000. And you ate up so much. But Franklin wasn't that big of a problem. But you was like a shock vac, and then on top of that, I got nothing in return from it. And like basically saying that Rob is pitiful, and he like pushes Rob. Jerome jumps in and try to stop, and then Jerome saying, slap your daddy, fool, slap your daddy, slap your daddy. He slapped his daddy, he slapped him again, and then that's when Rob jumps in and was like, stop hitting my daddy, I'll owe you the money, I'll pay you back, I'll help you, don't worry. And then Jerome's like, why do you care about this deadbeat? Because he's my father. And at that moment, that's where Franklin realized that he needs to help his father no matter what. Even though he's a deadbeat, a drug addict, he's trying to do well. So Franklin was like, I'll give you a discount, family 50% discount. Rob's father was like, no, I can't pay you, my company's in shambles, I make no money back. Rob was like, how come you didn't tell me, Dad, that you don't got no money, your company's not making, because what are you gonna do? Rob's father said, what are you gonna do? You can't help, but Rob actually does help. At this situation, he's gonna take on the debt of the 2 keys being missing. Franklin trusts him. Rob is crying, his father's crying. His father got slapped the hell up by Jerome. Jerome was slapping his ass up, and then that's when Rob jumped in. Rob slapped his father softly. So that situation, I was like, damn, it's going down, baby. And it was just so funny. Jerome actually like stood out with this whole scene. It was just like great. From the time that they was in the house talking to Rob, Jerome just took the lead in the acting role. He just stood out so much. And so we got that situation done. And then we move on to Lorena. She got the drop on Teddy. She's filming. I mean, she's out there watching. She got the cops. She got the FBI, whoever she's with, on the microphone. And then Teddy noticed them. He noticed that somebody's watching, the place. He asked Matt if he said anything back in Panama. Matt was like, nah, I didn't say anything. And, Teddy gets the license plates, and he's running, and he's looking, and he's making sure that he doesn't get boxed in and they don't get him, because we know they're not going to catch Matt, they're not going to catch Teddy, because he's actually smarter than them, and he's been in so many different situations with being a the CIA, agent, that he knows all the moves that the police or the FBI are going to use. He thinks it's the FBI. He thinks that it's something from Panama, but actually he's going to find out it's from Lucia and Gustavo later on, hopefully. And so we have that situation going on. Then we got Franklin. He goes to see his father with Nia Jones. His father's actually working. He's working with in a liquor store where Franklin used to work at. And Franklin comes and was like, yo, I guess you're keeping our family in the business. You're keeping us employed or whatever. And so that situation goes down. And Franklin, brings Nia there, and it's like, how you find, Franklin's father's like, how you find me? And Nia Jones is like, well, Franklin got some connects, he can find his father. So it shows you that Franklin is moving in these streets, and people got respect for him. He can find out stuff, and he's actually just showing his intelligence too as well. He helps his father. His father signs the documents. Nia Jones is happy. Nia Jones let Franklin know that she used to be, her father used to be, in the Panthers, but why he was shot and killed, allegedly robbing a liquor store. She doesn't believe it, and she lets him know she went to college, she did this, she did that. Franklin is all in awe of her, and he likes her, and he likes intelligent women, and she actually can replace Auntie Lou. She actually get in the business, or she can actually give him knowledge because she knows the criminal justice system, and she's trying to change the criminal justice system and with becoming a lawyer, because now she's going to law school. Franklin asks her out. Franklin asks her out on a date. She declines because she don't want to be in that business. So he's looking at her like, damn. He was like, He's kind of feeling her because she's intelligent. She actually took the steps that he wanted to take, and his mother wanted him to take in life, but he didn't. He chose to be a drug dealer. And so we have that situation go down. And then on top of that, we have Lucia and Gustavo. They snake out Franklin, and they know that there's some division between Franklin and, Kevin. And they know Franklin is the weakest link because Franklin and Kevin showed them that they have a weak link in their chain of armor when they met up with Lucia and Gustavo in the park to find out which Mexican had killed, Kevin's cousin, and the arguing and Kevin walking off. And so now they approach him for the recipe because they know he knows, and they offering him millions of dollars, $500,000, and also the person that killed, Kevin's cousin. And so it's a lot of information, but we don't know if Gustavo and Lucia is not just going to pick any Mexican, or they're going to actually get the guy that actually killed Franklin's cousin. And they're talking about they can make it secret and private and nobody would know. Then on top of that, they're letting Kevin know that he can be on top of the game. He can be a boss. There's room for everybody because the recipe is going to get out sooner or later, and that's very true. Why not make some money on it? And then looking at his house where he's living and his family, he's not coming up, and you can come up and run your own operation. And Kevin already thinks he's smart. He's already running things by, Franklin. Franklin is not feeling all his ideas and things and stopping him dead at the jump. But we know Kevin messes up because, remember, he had the Mexican girls and ended up turning being bad because he was trying to investigate who killed his cousin, and he came back all bruised up. So now Lucia and Gustavo giving him an offer he can't refuse in so many words, because that is something that Kevin wants. His ego's too big and he don't know structure, and he wants to be his own boss because he wasn't raised with a father. And they make that, known in the season. And so Lucia gives Kevin her pager number and how to contact her if he's ready to be on top, if he's ready to be in the business and take over. So it's like, damn, it's going down, baby. And we'll see. We know that Kevin is actually going to be competition, and he's actually going to have somebody go against him that is in his chain of armor, and that is going to be Kevin. But they wouldn't approach Leon because Leon is loyal to Kevin. Is loyal to, Franklin, but Kevin wants to be his own man, and he thinks he's much smarter than Franklin. He don't think Franklin is doing what he's supposed to do, but it would be nice to see Franklin's father and Franklin get back together, and Franklin already paid for a retainer for an expensive lawyer to defend his father. So now Franklin is the man, and he's looking out all types of ways, because if his father goes to jail, that's going to kill his mother, in so many words, emotionally. So Franklin is telling his father, don't be a deadbeat, mama needs you, don't leave her high and dry like you used to leave her, so I'm giving you a shot and a chance. I'm going to help you. So Franklin actually at this moment approved of his father and his mother getting back together. Peace and out, one love.